Hello, Tracy here with another scrapbooking process video. I'm using the November hip kit again today, and I am going to be scrapbooking two photos of our international student Pascal and his first day in the snow. And so there are the photos right there, but before I get started, I had a pretty good feeling that I was going to use one of these wood veneer pieces from the Snow and Cocoa wood veneer pack that came in the kit, and I wasn't entirely sure which of these I would use as my title. And my first idea was that I would make them silver because I love that silver dazzler stuff. But then I had a moment of thinking, wait a second, maybe I might want to make them blue. And so in the color kit, I got the silver dazzlers that I was at first thinking about using, and also this Well Blue Me Down colorings. And this is a beautiful spray. I absolutely love the pigment in it. It's just so gorgeous. And I'm using a piece of deli paper there, which I really didn't have to use. I'm using my Try Plus art palette, and that will easily take care of any overspray. But for some reason, I just had a piece of deli paper out, so I sprayed on that. And then you saw me just transfer it over to another one. And my first thought was maybe I would make the background be this Well Blue Me Down color from Colorings. And then I might put some silver on top, but I loved it so much, just that blue color, that I just decided to leave it. So I won't be putting silver on this at all. Or so I think. I might come back to that. So I'm starting by using my Creative Memories trimmer to trim down these two photos. They're both 3 by 3 inches. And I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use them, but on my last layout using this kit, I really loved this background paper, and it just didn't work for the photos that I had last time, so I'm going to use it on the background for this one for sure. And then the pattern strip of like where I cut the manufacturer's strip was that black and white diagonally striped piece, and I really like that too, so I thought I would use that as well. And then I thought I might want to use this Burr Oh So Cold text paper from the Snow and Cocoa collection, and I thought I might want to use that as my mat for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down my background piece, and this background paper is from the Hip Kit Club. It's one of the exclusive papers, and I really love it. And so I'm just going to put my ATG adhesive all the way around the outside of it, and then stick it to the, and I just want to make sure that the stars are right side up. So they have some of the stars have a long tail on it, and I just want the long tail of the stars to be facing down. And it was a little bit crooked, and I thought about trying to pull it off and make it straight, but I actually burnished it down. I pressed down quite hard on it, and so it was going to be a bit of a nightmare to take it off, so I just decided to leave it crooked. It's okay. It's not all that crooked. It's just that there's a little bit more space up on the top edge than there is on the bottom edge. I used my marker or my black pen to just outline all the way around it with a very fine touch to make that line very, very thin. I want it to look almost like black thread. It's not black thread at all, but I like the line in this case to be very, very, very fine. So now I'm thinking about cutting out some of these cut aparts, and this phrase struck me right off. It says lots and lots of fluffy snow, but I don't like the brown background that it's on. So I will be cutting those phrases up, but I'm leaving them together for now just so that they don't get lost. And I really like this snowman, and he's really, really cute. The only problem is that he's on a pink background, and I think because this is a layout about a teenage boy, I think it's okay to use pink on a boy layout, but I just am feeling like I don't really want to. And I feel like if I put pink there, I'm going to have to put pink somewhere else. And I'm not sure I'm going to want to do that. So I am sure that I'm going to want to use one of these paper clips from the Snow and Cocoa collection that came in the kit. And so I am trying to pry the paper clip right off of that so that I can just use that polar bear, or that penguin, as an embellishment instead. And the reason I'm not using the polar bear was the one I wanted the most, because it kind of he's just cute, and he looks like a guy, and he kind of reminded me of Pascal, all bundled up with a scarf. But I already have that polar bear on that card. Remember, I'm still not decided if I'm going to keep the snowman card, but I definitely want to keep the polar bear card. And here I am working really hard to try to get the paper clip off of the burr, and it is not. This is the rubber burr, and it's not coming off nearly as easily as it came off of the penguin. So I'm actually going to grab my little scissors and just snip a little bit of the plastic off to help me take the paper clip off of that. And so now, instead of 2 paper clips, I have 2 free-floating rubber pieces that I can put anywhere, and they don't have to be on the edge of something. So I almost always take the rubber pieces off of the paper clips when they come on paper clips, because I love rubber pieces so much. Now that does make them stand up quite a bit higher. Now I'm thinking about, but that's okay, it just gives them more dimension. I'm thinking about adding some more pattern papers here, because I have that tree pattern paper from the Snow and Cocoa collection, and I was just thinking about maybe adding some more. That's just a scrap from my last layout, and all of the items on this project up until the very, very end, all of the items come from the HIP kit from November. Now these glitter letter stickers are called Doll, and they are awesome. I really, really love them. They're a gray foam letter with very bright silver glitter all over them, and they're absolutely fabulous. Perfect for wintry, cool layouts. So I just pardon me, I just spelled out the word outside, and I'm putting it on some wax paper just so that I know how big it's going to be so I can design my title. And so my title is going to be It's Cold Outside, or Brr, It's Cold Outside. And I had this this strip of scalloped paper from my last layout that was a bit of a mistake, and I liked it, but it's not cut properly and it's glued together in a weird way. So I just cut a similar width piece from the exact same paper. This is one of my favorite patterns from this collection. It's from the Snow and Cocoa collection from Crepe Paper, and I love the little half circles all over it. It's just awesome. I just love that design. So I used my small scallop border punch to put a small scalloped edge on that piece of pattern paper, and I really like how it turned out, and I'm going to layer it along with these 2 striped pieces of these 2 striped strips. Now one of those strips is part of that background paper that I cut off, just like the back side of that star blue paper is stripes, just black and white stripes. And then the other black and white strip there that is just the same pattern but a different scale is the manufacturer's strip from that exact same paper. So I'm building myself a bit of a triangle here where the 2 stacked photos are the peak of the triangle, like the tallest part, and then the little polar bear off to the left-hand side is a smaller edge of that triangle, and then the title will be on the other side of the photos, and that will be the other kind of smaller side of the triangle. The whole triangle will be sitting upon these strips of pattern paper. And so I need to design this so that the word cold kind of fits there so that it's not going to cover up his face in the lower photo, and so that it's going to be right beside his legs in the upper photo. And so I just glued my photos down to, which were already glued onto the pattern paper. I just glued it right down onto the background paper so that the word cold would fit. Now I'm going to make the word cold look like it has some snow piled on top of it, as if snow was falling and landed on all of the top edges of this word. And I'm using the textures paste for this because it's just this beautiful shiny silver. And I'm also going to use some, what is it called again? It's called Ice Stickles glitter glue. And I have the crystal ice kind, and it looks like snow when it dries. So first I'm going to put a layer of this textures silver paint just to give my snow a little bit of, like, I didn't want the stickles to just sit right on top of the blue letters. I wanted to add the textures as just a little bit more interest, and to make the piles of snow look a little bit bigger than they're actually going to be once I put the stickles on. So my first thought was I should let this textures stuff, or the dazzlers. Did I call it textures? Dazzlers is the name of it. My first thought was that I should let it dry, and then my second thought was I don't like waiting for things to dry, so I'm just going to put the stickles right on top of it. I think it'll dry fine, and it does. So that's what the stickles look like. They come in a bit of a bigger bottle than regular stickles, and that bottle has a wider nozzle because the glitter inside is a chunkier glitter than what you usually get when you use stickles. And stickles is, of course, a glitter glue that I think it might be made by Ranger. Yes, it is made by Ranger. So I'm putting the word cold on there, even though the stickles and the dazzlers are still wet. I just very carefully put it there to hold the space so that I can nest that D in outside in the little space of the D from the word cold, because I just wanted the words to nestle like that. If it's cold outside, these words will want to snuggle up to each other to keep warm. And so I think I can move it all over a little bit more and still have that word cold be on the page where it needs to be and not hanging off the edge. And that will allow the letter O to fit in there just a little bit better. And so I got a couple of little stray bits of stickles on my background paper, but that's okay because it'll be covered up by that actual word cold when I add that to the page. So I just used my ruler and I lined up my ruler on the background of my grid mat, and I also lined up the layout on the background of my grid mat just to make sure that I was placing those letters in a straight fashion. And now I'm using my Chimel gray American Crafts pen, and I am outlining all the way around each of these edges of the scallops. That just gives this paper a little bit more of a finished look and a little bit more definition. I really like outlining things, and outlining in gray just gives it a little bit less high contrast of a look than outlining it in black. And I didn't want this pattern paper to really jump out at you. I just wanted it to have a finished look. So that's why I chose gray instead of black outlining. I am using black outlining in other places on this paper, on this project. So I am just lining up those two striped patterns so that they're opposites, so that they just make little arrowy type of shapes. Arrowy type of chevrons, meaning, they make a triangle over here and there where they connect. And this is the overall structure of this layout, what you see here. And so now that I have the overall design, it's time to start thinking about what embellishments I might want to use. So I'm looking at the embellishments that came with the Hip Kit Club kit for November. And these are exclusive die cuts that are designed to coordinate with the kit. And I'm picking things that I think work with the theme of, it being cold outside. And I'm also picking embellishments that fit with the color scheme that I have, which is mostly that blue color with pops of red. So it's not quite a monochromatic, it's dichromatic. There's not many other colors on there other than the red and that blue. So yeah, I'm trying to stick mostly to that. Here I go cutting out those phrases as I said I intended right from the beginning. And so there we go. I'm just going to collect up all those little bits of garbage so I don't get mixed up and lose things accidentally. So now I'm just taking my .01 pen and I'm outlining all the way around it. I am using black here because I do want to emphasize this phrase because I think it's a great phrase. It really works with the layout and the theme and the story that I'm trying to tell. Lots and lots of fluffy snow. And I'm just messy outlining it, just doing a very fast job of that, just like I did around the outside of that background paper. And those phrases, lots and lots of fluffy snow, will span between both the photo, the top photo, and that polar bear card, and bring all those elements together. What I mean by all those elements is the photo, that tree background paper, and the bear card. So now what I'm doing now is I'm just looking through some of the embellishments that come in the kit and trying to think about, I put happy up there because I thought I might put a little cluster up there. I end up not doing that. And then at the last minute, I decided to add this frame to the bottom photo. I don't often put frames on photos when I am only using like one frame for 2 photos, but I thought it really worked here, so I decided to go with it. And here I'm going completely overboard on the pop dots for that word winter, but I really like the way that word looks there. I like how it layers with the polar bear. And here's the one place that I'm adding a little bit more color. There is some color on the penguin's hat and scarf as well, and both of those colors are in this little striped scalloped piece that came in the die cut set, and so I like how that looks. And I just tucked it so it disappears behind the tree paper. And now that fa la 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 would look really nice if it looked like the polar bear was saying it. And I'm going to come back to that idea again. I'm thinking about, can I cover up that hello? I don't know why the word hello was bothering me, but I felt like I wanted to cover it up with something. So I'm looking at these word and phrase stickers that came with the kit. And now I'm just going to add a piece of this washi tape that came in the kit just to the bottom part of this frame. I like to decorate frames in one corner. And this is the corner that's getting the decorating. And so again, I'm feeling like this So Excited is the same color as the frame itself. And so that washi tape in the pink just helps to add some separation. Again, there's another color that isn't the red or the blue. So there are a few other colors. But it's still too much of the same. So I thought about covering up the So Excited with a colored phrase, but then it's still too much of the same colors. So then I just decided to put the Christmas Magic phrase sticker that I was going to just layer on top of the banner. I just used it by itself. And I like that, but then I thought I can still get away with using the So Excited banner, especially now that there's a few other things down here that aren't that blue. So even though it's exactly the same color as the frame, it works okay because there's enough other things in there too. I love these puffy stickers. There we go. I'm flirting with that idea of fa la la. But from a design perspective, it just throws off the balance to put something so large up there in the top left-hand corner of that polar bear card. So instead, I'm going to use the puffy sticker circles that have little snowflakes in them and sprinkle them all around the background of that paper so that it looks like the polar bear is standing in the snow, just like Pascal is standing in the snow. And then I just went ahead and added some adhesive to those to those phrases, lots and lots of snow. And then I cut a bunch of dimensional adhesive in half because I had already used up all the outside edges that I often cut up to use. And so I just needed some smaller pieces, so that's what I did. Meanwhile, I noticed that this bird is red, and I thought that I might be able to stand him on top of the word cold when it gets added. So all this time, I'm waiting for my stickles to dry. Waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're still nowhere near dry because stickles, man, they take a long, long time. So I just topped up a couple of places that I thought just needed a little bit more stickles, and I'm still waiting for them to dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to look for a letter sticker that I can use to spell out the word it's. And so I have my small letter sticker basket here, and I'm picking a tile letter sticker. These are October Afternoon Mini Market letter stickers, and they're called Chalk and Slate. And I really love them because they're cursive. And most mini market stickers are not cursive, so that's kind of neat. And I like that they're white they're actually like an off-white color on a black background. I use my Dylusions white not glue pen, but paint pen in order to make the apostrophe just between the T and the S. And it will, because it's on a non-porous because it's on a porous surface of paper, it will sink into the paper and it won't be such a bright white once that apostrophe dries. So I use some Tombow Mono Multi adhesive on my rubber pieces along with the dimensional adhesive that I put in place to hold the space for them so that they weren't wobbly. And I just attached those at the very end. And now I'm still waiting for those stickles to dry. Oh my goodness, it's taking so long. So I'm going to do my writing in one single line right along the bottom line here. And it says, Pascal was so excited about the first snow, he rushed outside and started shoveling. And I yelled out and told him, there's no point in shoveling because you're going to have to shovel again because it's still snowing. And he said, I don't care. So he shoveled twice that day. I thought about using that Ellie Studio date stamp that I love, love, love and haven't had a chance to use yet, but I couldn't find a spot for it on this project. So I'm just using my regular roller date stamp. It was December 12th, the day before my birthday, when we had our first big snowfall of the year. We've had little bits of snow over here and there, but this was the first one that has accumulated, and the school was canceled and all that good stuff. So I was really happy that Pascal got to experience that. By the way, school is canceled today as well, which is why I haven't been scrapbooking as much as planned today, but here I am getting a chance to narrate this video after all, which is really nice. So I'm just adding another coat. So this is the third time that I'm adding a few more stickles, and those stickles, they tend to, what happens is the gluey part of it kind of condenses and shrinks down as it dries. And so I'm just filling it out with a little bit more as it dries. Now, finally, it's not 100% dry, but it's dry enough that I can put it on there, and it's starting to look crispy, like the snow, the glitter pieces are starting to look crispy instead of like they're in this liquidy jelly stuff, and that's exactly how I want them. So you see on this freeze frame here that there's still a little bit of jelly looking substance around that glitter. It will dry to a nice crispy, chunky looking, it'll look like snow, like dried snow crystals. And I'm just using my Tombow Mono Multi adhesive to glue that down. And because it's still a little bit wet, I'm just going to be careful as I press it down that I'm only putting it on the wood parts. I really love how you can see the grain of the wood. There's that and it's from Mini Market and the Delusions gel pen, and I'm just placing the right in between the top of the C and the top of the L. And so this one ends up saying, "Brr, it's cold outside," and I think I'm going to be able to fit that bird right there. And I think that bird is absolutely perfect. It just brings your eye up to that other corner and finishes off this layout quite nicely. I am going to trim his little tail feathers a tiny little bit because they will stick into the page protector if I'm not careful there. Meaning it, like, the layout won't fit properly in the page protector if I leave it as it is. That's what I meant to say. So I'm just going to take my beautiful gold scissors from American Crafts and trim that off. And I don't know what store those came from. Somebody asked me, and I don't know what store they came from because my friend Stephanie Hart placed the order for me when she was ordering. They might come from Studio Calico because I gave her some money and she bought them for me. So here's what this one looks like close up. I will have some photos for you as well. And yeah, I love how those stickles look like little tiny piles of sparkly snow. And yeah, I don't have too much more to say about this one. Do stay tuned for the photos because the photos really show you how this looks up close and all of the little details. One thing that I wanted to say was check out your subscriptions. If you've been missing some videos from me, if you're missing them, you might not be listening to this one at all. But I've been notified that some people have been unsubscribed from my channel who didn't want to unsubscribe from my channel. So just make sure that you're still subscribed to me. Every once in a while, YouTube changes the way they do things, and people get unsubscribed from channels. And so just make sure that you're still subscribed if you still want to be subscribed. And the other new thing that YouTube is doing is it is not sending out push notifications or emails to people unless if you press on the little bell beside subscribe. So now you can subscribe and not get those notifications. And so if you want the notifications, please make sure that you press on the little bell beside the subscribe button. That helps me out a lot when you subscribe, and it also makes sure that you stay up to date on what I'm creating. So here are those close-ups again. I hope that you guys found this one half as fun as I did because I really, really loved making this one. This layout is my second 12 by 12 layout from the holidays, and I do have a December daily-ish type of project that I'm working on as well. I haven't forgotten it, but I just needed to do some 12 by 12s to cleanse my scrappy palette before I got back into doing some pocket pages. And I also have to live a little bit more of the holidays because I've been sick. And so some of the things that I want to document, I actually haven't experienced yet, like baking and those sorts of things. So I'm hoping to get back into my December daily sometime in the next couple of days. So thanks so much for watching and have a really great scrappy week.